Okay, I am back for your second review packet. Aloha. Hope it's nice and warm back in Wisconsin. So this is our second review packet. Hopefully we're doing a little better. It's going to be easier. So if you're watching this, you're probably in trouble. Anyways, here we go. We're just going to do some plain old simple factoring. So this is all just review. All we're going to do is break the top and bottom down and do some canceling, see what happens. So I'm going to break the top down. We always start with this, and this will be x and x. Factors of 15 that give me 2, 5, and 3 because it's positive in the middle, something like that. Now remember, when you do these, you're hoping things cancel out, so I'm guessing there's probably an x minus 3 in bottom because I see a 12 down there. I know it's x and x. Factors of 12 are 3 and 4. I need a positive 1 in the middle, so that seems to work out. And there's what I was hoping for. So when I'm done, I have an x plus 5 on top, and I have an x plus 4 on bottom. Same thing for number 2. I'm just going to go ahead and do my factoring. So that's x and x. This time I need a factor of 40 that give me 3, so 8 and 5. And it's a negative 3 in the middle this time, so I need the bigger number negative. Now the bottom looks like it's, I'm guessing, an x plus 5 to be somewhere, because 8 doesn't go to 25, so it ends up being x plus 5, x plus 5. Let's go away here. So I'm left with on top an x minus 8, on bottom an x plus 5, and there's that. Okay. Bottom, or number 3 there, exact same stuff, so I'm just going to do some factoring on top here. And when you're multiplying, you can just jam the whole stuff on top together, bottom together. So if I do some factoring on top here, I have the factors of 8 that give me a negative 2. So factors of 8 are 4 and 2, so I know it's going to be 4 and 2. Because it's negative, it's going to be negative and positive. And keep going right across the top here. X squared and a 3x, the only thing that can go over to that is an x. If I pull x out, this means x plus 3. Now on the bottom, x squared plus 5x plus 3. Well, those are both positive signs, so these both have to be positive. Factors of 6 that give me a 5 or 3 and a 2. And then there's a difference of perfect squares. X, we did this one yesterday. So x plus 4 and x minus 4. Now I just do a bunch of canceling and see what happens here. So that worked out nice. X plus 3 over here with this x plus 3 over here. I have an x minus 4 over here and x1 over here. So all that's left on top is this lonely old x. And what's left on the bottom is that x plus 4. And there we go. Now, number 4, I can either multiply straight across and then do some canceling, or I can cancel first. Yesterday I did both. Today I'm not going to. I'm just going to do some canceling right away, because you see I have this here, this here, this here, this here. So that junk's all gone. All right. So I have a 5 and a 15. That goes away, but 5 goes into 15 3 times. I have a 7 here, so that goes away. 7 goes into 21 3 times. So when you know a 3 and a 3 are gone. So all that's left now is an a to the 7th, b squared over a to the 4th, b to the 4th. Okay, so I have 7 a's on top, 4 on bottom. Okay, I have more on top. I have 3 more a's on top. Take away 4, minus 4, I get 3. Now on the b's, I have 2 b's on top, 4 on bottom. I have more on the bottom. How many more do I have on the bottom? I have actually 2 more. So I write it like that. So I have a to the 3rd over b squared. Alright. Scroll down the next couple problems here. Alright. Again, multiplying this first one, I'm going to just go ahead and factor those things and see what happens. Hopefully we can cancel. X, factors of 10, so I'm going to have a 5 and a 2, and I have to have a positive, so it's going to be plus and a minus. And then x plus 1 against perfect squares here, x minus 1. Bottom, 2x squared plus 2x, I can factor a 2 and an x out of there actually. Now leave me with an x plus 1. And then x squared minus x minus 30, so it'd be broken into 2 of these with an x and an x. And I have a 5 and a 6, so that gives me a negative 1, so that's going to be negative, that's going to be positive. So now I just look for things that can cancel out, so this goes away. I have an x plus 1 and an x plus 1 up here. So on top, I'm left with an x minus 2 and an x minus 1. On the bottom I have, don't forget this 2x sitting out by itself, and the x minus 6. And that's as much as I can cancel. Alright, 6 over here. Now there's a division, so we need to change that division to multiply, and then flip your second fraction. So I'm going to leave the first one all alone, just factoring here. So the first one, I'm going to break down into 2 of these. And again, it's x, x. I need a 7 here. Oh, and it's a negative sign in the middle, positive on the outside, so you know it's going to be minus and minus. Okay, so 3 and 4. The bottom, x plus 4. Now I'm going to change the division location and flip the fraction, so that x minus 3 is going to go to the bottom from up here. And now we're just going to factor that top. So what do we got here? I'm going to have x, 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 and x, and an x here. Factors of 20, and they're both positive, because everything's positive, a 5 and a 4. Now I just cross out what I can. This x plus 4 goes with this one. This one of these goes with this one. So all that stuff's on top here. Let's see, looks like I have an x minus 3 and an x plus 5 in there. Oops, you know something? It should be a 4 here. Sorry about that. 3 and 4. So then I should have on top just an x minus 4 and an x plus 5. Sorry about that. Could multiply between x minus 3 and x minus 4. Okay. Erase this. Go to the next page here. Okay. So now I'm still multiplying again. I could simplify first, which I'm going to do. Cancel what I can. See, I have x to the third, x to the third. Now this isn't so nice. I have a y to the ninth and a y. So I have a y stuck in bottom and x is stuck on top. So I can go right away. I know that part of my answer is going to be x to the fifth on top and y to the 10th on bottom. Now I just need to look at my numbers here. Okay, 16 happens to go into 80 nicely. It goes in there 5 times. That means I have nothing on top or a 1. Don't forget there could be 1. And the bottom I have a 5 and a 5. So that gives me a 25. Over here again I could do either thing. So I look on the top. This time I will multiply together and then cancel at the end, see it makes a difference. So I go right across. I'm going to have a 14x to the 11th, 4 and 7. On the bottom I have a 5 times 14. What am I going to have there? So 5 times 14 is 20. 20 carried 2 and a 70. And then I have what? X squared and then a y to the third. Alright. Now I can do some stuff here. Obviously the y to the third is all by itself, so the y to the third has to stay in bottom. I have 11 x's on top, 2 x's on bottom. It takes away 2 of those things, it leaves me 9. So now I've got x to the 9th on top. And then now I just got to figure out what goes into both 14 and 70. Well, actually 14 goes into 75 times, so that becomes that. That x to the 9th over 5 y to the 3rd. Okay, here it's already set up for me, so I'm just going to do some cleaning up. I'm going to write that as x plus 3 and x minus 3. On the top here, I actually have a 5 and then an x plus 2 and an x minus 2. The bottom, I have not much to change. X plus 2 and x minus 3. So now I can do some canceling here. This goes away with this, that goes away with that, that goes away with that. So left on top, looks like I have an x plus 3 and an x minus 2. I've looked at the bottom, I have nothing left. So x plus 3, x minus 2. Alright, doing the same process here. Back to this top here, I'm going to have x and an x. Factors of 20 that give me my 8. It's going to be actually a plus 10 minus 2. The bottom, I can factor a 5 and an x squared. which guess what? Will leave me an x plus 10. Okay. I'm going across here, the top, so I can just write this all as one big fraction, even though it doesn't matter. Alright, the bottom's easier to work with because I can factor an x out of there, leave me an x plus 9. Now the top, see, that should give me a clue. I'm guessing I probably have a 9 somewhere, x plus 9 somewhere. Now look at the top now. And I have an x and an x. 18 factors of 18 are 9 and 2. And I have a positive 7, so that's going to be positive and negative. Well, that's what I wanted. So my x plus 9s go away over here. My x plus 10s go away over here. So on the top, I have an x minus 2 and an x minus 2. So I'm going to write that actually as x minus 2 squared. On the bottom, looks like I have a 5x squared here and an x here. So I have 5x cubed. Okay. So 10. Okay. Number 11 is actually division of fractions. So I'm going to change that division, multiplication, and flip. So I'll do my factoring right away again. So I'm going to have an x and an x. Factors of 3, well, I don't have any choices here, 3 and 1. And this time it's going to be negative and a positive. On the bottom, there's nothing to do. Change my division to multiplication, flip my fraction, and then factor it away, x plus 1, x minus 1. The top, again, it becomes the bottom, x and x. I need factors of 12, 4, and 3. This time I got it right. And then it's a positive in the middle, so it's going to be positive, negative. Now we look for things that cancel out. X plus 1s go away, and x minus 3 here and here. And then it looks like on top I'm left with an x plus 1 and an x minus 1. The bottom, and x plus 4. Alright, now the division. This first side is pretty much done for me, except I can factor a 3 out of here. Then change the division, multiplication, flip, and simplify right away. So the bottom becomes the top and vice versa. So I'm going to worry about this one first. I can factor an x out of there. That leaves me with an x minus 2. That should give me some hints of hopefully what we can get on top here. So when I do this, now it's an x and an x. Factors of 8 are 4 and 2. There's what I wanted. And since it's a positive 8 and negative in the middle, actually they're both minuses. So my x minus 2's go away, my x minus 4's go away. So only thing left on top, oh no, I have more too, an x and an x. So all that's left is a 5 and a 3. Looks like I have 5/3. Alright, I'm going to scroll up myself a little room for the next two. Alright, now I am adding fractions and subtracting fractions. Remember, before I can do that, I need a common denominator. So my common denominator is 3 times x plus 2. So I need an x plus 2 and an x plus 2 on this side, and a 3 over here. Okay, so I know my denominator has to be 3 times x plus 2. Alright, now this top part is easy. Just 2 times 3 is 6. It's a minus. Now I have to distribute a 2x to both of those. Now remember, it's a minus here, so I always do this just to keep my signs right. 2x times x is 2x squared, and 2x times 2 is 4x. Okay. Now the reason I keep that in parentheses or brackets is because this negative has to go both places. Alright, so now if I rewrite that, and I just clean up a little bit, so I'm going to have a 6, I'll put it over here, 6 minus 2x squared minus 4x over 3 times x plus 2. Now, that top is messy with that negative sign in front of the 2x squared there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to factor a negative 2 out of the top. Now, if I do that, I will have x squared plus 2x minus 3 all over still 3 times x plus 2. Now, why did I do that? because you know what? I can probably factor that top a little more. This part right here could probably be factored, but don't forget, I still have a negative 2 in front. Then I factor that, I'm going to have an x and an x, and then I'm going to have factors of negative 3 are 3, 3 and 1. That's going to be a positive sign here, and a negative here. The bottom was 3 and x plus 2. I was hoping more would cancel. I was hoping I'd get an x minus or plus 2 somewhere, but I didn't. So it looks like I'm just left with this mess here. Negative 2, x plus 3 times x minus 1 over 3 times x plus 2. So I was hoping I could factor this and cancel something out. So I tried it, but that's as far as I could get. All right, 14 over here. Again, I need a common denominator. This one's a little different. Okay, because I have a 6x plus 1. Over here, this x squared minus 9 is the same as x plus 3 times x minus 3. 3. So in this case, this is my common denominator. This side is missing an x plus 3. So I have to multiply by an x plus 3 on top and bottom. So the left side of my fraction doesn't change. It's 6x plus 1. And I know my denominator, the whole denominator, is x plus 3 and x minus 3. Now over here I have to distribute this, and I'm glad it's a plus. I take 4 times x, which is 4x, and then 4 times 3, which is 12. So now I'm just going to clean that up a little bit here. 6x and 4x is giving me a 10x, and 1 plus 12 is a 13. On the bottom I have x plus 3 and x minus 3, and there's nothing I can do with that. Okay. Getting there. Oh, complex fractions. All right, again, the top is nicely done for us. The bottom, not so nice. Now, if you notice, the bottom was kind of funny here. I have an x minus 5 and a 5 minus x. The signs are backwards a little bit. So I have 5 minus x on the left and an x minus 5 on the right. Well, the top's fine. I know that right away. 4 over 5 minus x. It's the bottom I need to figure out here. I don't want to multiply both sides by 5 minus x and a 3, or an x minus 5 and a 3 on the other side, so I got to figure out how I can make this nicer. Well, if I want to clean things up just a little bit, somehow I need to get 5 minus x and x minus 5 the same, somehow. So what can I do in this mess? If I multiply this side by negative 3 over negative 3, just to show what happens here, I would have on top a negative 6. On bottom, I would have a negative 15 plus 3x. Okay, it'd be 1. Now, what do I have to do on the other side then? Okay, because I need this to be the same. If I distribute it here, I have a 3x and a 15 there. Well, that's kind of what I need, isn't it? 1 over, and then if I distribute that, I'd have 3x minus 15. So all I had to do is multiply that left side by that negative 3 there. So over here I would have a negative 6, and remember it's an adding here. So I have a negative 6 on top, and then a plus 1. And then over here, on the bottom, I don't want it to have the whole mess, so I could just write it as 3 times x minus 5. Now if I clean this up here, this is just going to be negative 6 plus 1 is a negative 5. Okay, so let's write this here, see what we got. I have a 4 and a 5 minus x here. And then on the bottom, I have a negative 5 and 3x minus 5. Now remember, this division means multiply, so I'm just going to take this 4 over 5 minus x and multiply it by the reciprocal, 3x minus 5 over a negative 5. Now it would be nice if those would cancel out. 5 minus x and x minus 5, but the signs are exactly opposite. So what I can do is multiply one side, the whole side, by a negative 1. So if I multiply here a negative 1 on top and a negative 1 on bottom, I would have a negative 4 over, change your signs down here, it become an x minus 5. And then this side is still 3 times x minus 5 over negative 5. Well, now these go away with that. And then negative 4 times 3 is a negative 12 over a negative 5. So those negatives can cancel. I'm actually left with just 12 over 5. That was messy. Okay. Now over here, my numerator's not done, but my denominator is. So the top here, this side on the right is missing an x plus 1. The left is missing an x minus 1. Okay, so I'm glad it's a plus in the middle. So if I rewrite that now, distribute that 1, I'd have an x minus 1 plus an x plus 1 all over the denominator is x minus 1 and x plus 1. The bottom is already set, x over x plus 1. Now do some canceling up here. These go away with that. So I have a 2x on top here. I'm going to go down here because I'm going to rewrite this as a 2x over x minus 1 and x plus 1. The bottom is still just x over x plus 1. Now I'm going to take this big division bar here and make that a multiplication and flip 2x over x minus 1, x plus 1. Change to division multiplication, flip upside down, x plus 1 over x. X plus 1s go away. One of these x's go away. So now I'm left with just 2 over x minus 1. All right, a couple more left hanging there. I'll do some solving. Now remember, before we can solve anything, we have to have common denominators on the one side at least. So over on the left here, I need a common denominator of x minus 2 and a 3. This side's missing the 3. Unfortunately, this side is missing an x minus 2 and then x minus 2. All right, so this side is easier. That's good. That's just going to be a 6. And unfortunately, it's a minus. So again, I'm going to do this so I don't lose my negative signs. I distribute that through. Okay. So it's going to be 2x times x is 2x squared. And 2x times negative 2 is a minus 4x. That's the top. The bottom we said was 3 times x minus 2. Over here I still just have an x minus 3 and a 3. Okay, now let's clean this up just a little bit here. So this negative sign is going to go in here and here. So I'm going to have a 6 minus 2x squared plus 4x. Over here I have a 3 and x minus 2. Over here I have x minus 3 and a 3. Okay, anything I can do with this mess here at all? No. Anything cancel? Can I do anything nice at all with this disaster? Guess not. Got to do some cross multiplying. There and there. What a mess, mess, mess. Okay, so 3, take the 3 first. I would have 18 minus 6x squared plus 12x equals, oosh. So I have to take 3, and then x minus 2 times x minus 3 is going to be x squared. And then x times 3 is minus 3x. And then minus 2x, and then plus 6. Distribute this through 3x squared minus 9x minus 6x. I guess I could have cleaned it up first. Plus 18. And over here I have 18 minus 6x squared plus 12x. Yuck, yuck, yuck. So what I got here, 18s are gone. I have over here a positive 6x squared on the left and a 3x squared on the bottom. Over here, I'm going to bring this 6 to the other side, make this 9x squared. Over here, I have a 9x and a minus 6x is negative 15x. Okay. So that's a negative 15x. Go in here. And then take away, what do I got over here? It's a 12x. Okay. So I have a 12x over there. I got to subtract that. Yuck. So negative 15 minus 12 is a negative 27x. Alright. Now I'm going to keep going over here and I'll erase in a second here. So over here now is just a 0. So I'm going to take this whole mess and put it up here. I have 9x squared minus 27x equals 0. Well, I can factor 9x out of there. That's leaving x minus 3 equals 0. So here I have a 9x equals 0. And then x minus 3 equals 0. So actually I have an x equals 0, and over here an x equals 3. Whew. And a nightmare. Okay. 18. Alright, 18. I have a 1, so I need, okay. I'm going to need a common denominator or something here, and what am I going to do with this whole thing? Well, this side, this 1 right here, I could write that 1 as x minus 3 over x minus 3, because that's the same as 1. Then here I have a plus 3 over x minus 3, and then over here I have a 4 over x squared minus 9. So I can now combine, because this minus 3 here and this plus 3 go away. I actually have an x here, and now I have an x minus 3. That equals 4 over x squared minus 9. Now I'm going to cross multiply that first. Now I'm going to write that out. So x times, remember x squared minus 9, here it is x plus 3, and then x minus 3. Now I go that way, I would have a 4x minus 12. So what do I got here? And actually, you know what? See this x minus 3 here? I'm going to leave this alone and leave it as 4 times x minus 3, because they both sides share x minus 3. So that's a better way to write it. Okay, so then over here I have an x squared plus 3x. Over here I have a 4. Yuck. So I'm going to bring this 4 over here, and I'll write it away over to the left. Then I'm going to have an x squared plus a 3x minus 4 equals 0, which means, you know what, I do some factoring. X and x, factors of 4 are 4 and 1, give me 3, and it's got to be a positive here and a negative here. So then I have x plus 4 equals 0, and x minus 1 equals 0. So I have x equals negative 4, and the x equals 1. Whew. One more. Almost done. Okay, last one. Looks kind of easy actually. I just need to get some common denominators in here. So I multiply this left side by 9 over 9. I multiply this side by 7 over 7. So I'll go across here. I would have 27x, and then minus, multiply 7, 14x over my common denominator. The common denominator is 9 times 7, which was 63. Over here I have a 2. Now cross multiply, all I have to do is take the 63 times that 2. I have 27x minus 14x, which we have shortly. And 63 times 2 is what, 126? Well, 27x minus 14x is 13x equals 126. Divide both sides by 13, and it doesn't go nicely. 126 over 13, and it doesn't reduce either. Aloha, that was pretty tough. Okay, I should be back hopefully tomorrow, guys. So I see you in class. Have a good one.